Hi, I'm Amy Mays. I'm the executive director of Happy Crew. It's Cole Mays, my son. Meg Mays, my daughter. And we're here to talk today about some effective tools to talk to your teenager. Talking to your teenager can be scary, frustrating, miserable, and it can be beautiful and wonderful. So this is a tool to make it more beautiful, even if you have to go through the icky. It's called active listening. How would you define active listening?
I think when we're listening to someone, it can so quickly just turn into, I want to find a solution. When the point of listening is to develop a relationship with the other person.
That's a good point.
And it's in that relationship that we find a solution eventually. But the point is the relationship. And so I think active listening really enables us to get into that perspective of, I want to know what they're saying, not for the sake of finding a solution, but of seeing them in their space and knowing them in that space.
Yeah.
That
good.
they're creating for me, not that I'm bringing myself.
Yes. Yes, that they are creating and sharing with you, not something you're imposing from the outside. What do you think?
Definitely all of those lines. And also, I find it so frustrating when I'm in a conversation with someone and I'm explaining how I'm feeling and then they immediately go to them or just continue the conversation. And it feels like it's just being blown over. And so I think active listening is a good way to understand from your point that you're being heard and to help just correct the conversation to where you want it to flow instead of just being walked on or losing all track of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are the tools to active listening?
The tools to active listening are just like what you guys are saying. It's repeating it back. And it feels so strange. I mean, it really does. It's just awkward. You say, hey, I say to you, how was your day? It was good. Okay, your day was good. Yeah, it was good. Good. Okay. What does good mean to you? Help me understand good. Does it mean like everything went well and you got all A's at school and all your friends were nice? Does it mean like you barely survived? Help me understand what good is. And then you can go into that. It sort of cuts through those one-word answers. Like, I want to know more. I want to understand what you're saying. So, yes, repeating back, really understanding the other person, just like you said. I want to know that what I'm saying is being heard in the right way. The next part of it is to go deeper and deeper. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about good. Tell me more about the day. And then repeating that back and just constantly peeling back the next layer so that the conversation develops some depth and some relationship and some connection, right? So when you're talking with your kids, it can be so short. How's your day? Good. Okay. I really would like to understand that more. What does good mean to you? Like, being vulnerable is a part of active listening and wanting to hear what your kids mean. Some of the times when it's most effective are when there's disagreement. And if you can really stop the disagreement by saying, here, help me understand what you're saying. What do you want me to get? Here's what I'm thinking you're saying. But what are you really saying? To get on the same page and to be clear about what the issue is. And then you can both sort of be on the same side and approach the issue together rather than you hear, issue in the middle. Does that make sense? Can you think of a specific example where a parent and a teenager might be fighting about something and how it can bring clarity?
There's moments when I would easily get stressed out, whether it was school or my friends or something was happening, and I was internally stressed. And then when these people started asking me these questions, or when they ask, how are you doing? Oh, I'm feeling stressed. Well, it's just high school. and that's okay, or you'll get over it tomorrow. When the solution comes initially, I feel more stressed.
Yeah.
But I think in a conversation, it's like, and I can't remember a few times where it's like, okay, well, tell me about that stress. I tell you about the stress, but I think that's the most important thing, is not to provide a solution, maybe even in the first couple of conversations. Because I don't necessarily want a solution. I just want somebody to listen to me.
Yeah.
And that creates a space where I can maybe ask you later, hey, do you have a solution? How do you deal with stress?
How about you? So I get grumpy in the mornings when you're trying to talk to me, and you're like, how are you? Good. So just stop talking to me, kind of thing. And you're like, okay, are you good? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm really tired. Okay, why are you tired? Well, I didn't sleep. And then you kind of know, like, okay, I'm going to back off. I'm going to let her eat, do whatever she needs to do, and then in a couple hours we can talk. And it just skips all of that to where we
Right.
both are like, okay, we understand where we're at, and we'll get back to it in a minute.
And the intent is to communicate.
Right.
And when we push it or don't listen, then
It's ugly.
then it becomes like, oh,
Yeah.
just stop. But if we can focus on the intent, communicate. Oh, this is how the best communication is going to happen in a couple hours. Then it's good. Then it's good.
I think you brought up just a really key point in active listening. It's not continuing to push for the deeper space, but it's actually listening to say, oh, okay, she's tired, and I know that, in a few hours. Active listening needs to turn into action that involves that listening. So breaking it all down, active listening, you repeat what they say, you actually listen and internalize what they're saying, you don't come with a solution, and you apply action towards what they said.
That's great.
Thank you.